Howdy heretics, today we're going to talk about the difference between ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and ex-Mormons and why it's really important to know the difference. And it's kind of fascinating because the Jehovah's Witness culture and the Mormon culture is very much the same. It's salvation through work, and no matter what you do, it's not good enough. And I see Jehovah's Witnesses, they're afraid of Smurfs, Christmas, and science, while the Mormons are afraid of coffee, science, and history. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that goats are evil, while the Mormon Church actually on their official web page lists goats as an acceptable donation. Yes, you can donate a live goat to the LDS Church, but you should not talk about goat history. They don't like history. And it's kind of fascinating. Growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, growing up as a Mormon, we have kind of the same obstacles. There's a lot of restrictions you cannot do. But then we find different ways to overcome these obstacles. Like when you're a young man or a young teenager, you really want to look at naked ladies. But you're not allowed to go online and look at naked ladies. So the Mormon boys, they take an education and become doctors, while the Jehovah's Witnesses, we become window cleaners. So it's different way to overcome the same obstacle. But the reason why I'm making this video is because the 5th of October there will be a march in Salt Lake City, Protect Every Child. And it's an ecumenical march, but there will be a lot of ex-Mormons there. And then there will be a small group of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. And this is why I'm making this video, because it's really important to understand the ex-Mormons. So we won't turn them into enemies. They should be our ally. And what's important to know is that ex-Mormons will often be pomies, physically out, mentally in. While the Jehovah's Witnesses, the ex-Jehovah's Witness activists, they will always be pomos, physically out, mentally out. And when we talk to each other, we talk like physically out, mentally out. Because the Jehovah's Witness shunning doctrine is so evil. When we leave, we'll lose our parents, our siblings, our family, our friends, our professional network, often our job, sometimes our house, and we don't have an education to fall back on. So the only way to survive for us is to do our research. We research organization history, the doctrines, so we can liberate us from the doctrine. So we're physically out, mentally out. So whenever Jehovah's Witness activists meet together, we will make fun of Watchtower, we will make fun of Watchtower doctrine, we will make fun of Watchtower Jesus, we will make fun of Watchtower leaders, we will make fun of the Watchtower Bible. No one's offended, because everyone is pomo, physically out, mentally out. But the Mormons, they have a soft shunning, so they get to keep their family, they get to keep their friends, they get to keep their job, they get to keep their house, and in case they lose any of that, often they do have an education to fall back on. So when they leave physically, but they don't necessarily leave mentally. So they're pomis, physically in, physically out, mentally in. So we can talk to them like we talk to among us, because they might be offended. So when we deal with ex-Mormons, as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, we deal with ex-Mormons, we have to remember to do this. Because I can give you one example. There was a children's rights activist, ex-Mormon, that said, very clever thing he said, it's important to remember that sexual predators, they are highly intelligent people and very charming. And they will not only groom the potential victim, no, they will groom large groups of people and charm them and pretend to be something they're not. So whenever a victim steps forward with an accusation, no one will believe the victim and everyone will believe the predator. And then the same guy said, I believe Joseph Smith was a true prophet. And when they do stuff like that, that's when we must learn to do this. Don't say anything, because we're not there to save the children of the past. We're there to save the children of the future, protect every child. So obviously some of the Mormons are mentally out like us. So I say it's like horses. You know, when you work on a farm with horses, you have to look at their ears. Because when you look at their ears, you always know what they're thinking. And it's the same thing with ex-Mormons. You look at their shoulders. If you can see their shoulders, they are cool. You can talk to them. If you can't see their shoulders, don't talk about history or science or anything. Because we're not there to make enemies. We're there to make allies. Because we want to change the future. Protect every child. And there will be a March 5th October. And we will have so much fun. And I do have this. This is our petition. So if you can't go there yourself, I'll leave a link in the description and you can read our petition and you can sign the petition. Or even better, you can print it out and send it in a letter to your local elder. You can take it, if you go to Cart Crashes, you can print it out and you can go to a Jehovah's Witness cart the 5th of October and have your own protest. Just read it out loud in a friendly voice to the witnesses. There's so much you can do without going to Salt Lake City. Some cart crash, you can go from door to door, knocking at Jehovah's Witnesses' door and say, hello, I'm an apostate. Could I read you a message from, I don't know, from common sense? So, I hope you like this video. I hope you are among my 144,000 subscribers. If not, this is your calling. So, happy heresy!